No one in the galaxy took humanity seriously. For centuries, other civilizations had watched Earth with curiosity, amusement, or sometimes pity. Humans were small, fragile, and chaotic. Their wars seemed pointless, their inventions crude compared to the technologies of the wider galaxy, and their species often reckless. Aliens would whisper among themselves, "They will never survive beyond their own planet." And yet humanity had grown. Quietly, patiently, without fanfare, the galaxy didn't notice because humans had never needed attention. Until that day. It began with a shimmer at the edge of the solar system, a faint glimmer of light that blinked and pulsed like a heartbeat. The scanners of distant fleets picked it up, and curiosity grew into concern. What was Earth doing? No other civilization had built anything remotely like it. And when the object finally came into view, the galaxy collectively froze. It was a warship, but not just any warship. The Titan of Terra was massive, larger than some moons, its hull shining like molten metal under the cold light of distant stars. Engines glowed with strange energy, pulsing rhythmically as if the ship itself were alive. Weapons arrays spanned its surface, symmetrical and elegant, yet clearly designed for destruction beyond imagination. The first fleets that approached Earth came with arrogance. They expected small drones or primitive ships. Humanity had nothing else in their history to suggest power. They were wrong. The Titan did not fire immediately. It hovered, silent and immense, as if observing the galaxy back. The aliens were the first to feel fear. Their sensors advanced beyond human comprehension, detected energy levels that made their own ships tremble. Their crews whispered in panic. Some called it impossible. Others muttered the word that no one had ever used about humans: dangerous. From orbit, humans on the ship watched quietly. They were not brash. They did not roar. They were calm. Captain Asha, standing on the bridge of the Titan, looked out at the alien fleets with measured eyes. She did not see enemies. She saw the galaxy for what it truly was: curious, arrogant, and unprepared to witness the truth. "Prepare the shields," she said softly to her officers. "They will see our strength soon enough." Her voice was steady, yet there was a quiet sadness to it. Humanity had not sought this attention. They had not desired conflict. But if the galaxy chose to underestimate them, there would be consequences. The aliens tried to communicate. Holographic messages floated toward the Titan, filled with polite questions, threats thinly disguised as diplomacy, and expressions of disbelief. Humans responded simply, calmly. The words were short, precise, and deliberate. "We do not seek war, but we will survive." For the first time, the galaxy realized something about humanity that no intelligence report had captured. They were unpredictable. They were clever, resourceful, and relentless when pushed. Their calm was not weakness, it was confidence. Their restraint was not mercy, it was control. Then came the first demonstration. Without warning, the Titan released a single pulse of energy into the void. A nearby asteroid belt, stable for millions of years, disintegrated instantly. Pieces vaporized, rocks turning into harmless dust as if the ship had simply commanded matter to obey. Aliens watched in horror. Their ships, standing at what they considered a safe distance, shook from the shock wave of the pulse. It was not a message of hatred. It was a warning, a lesson. Humanity was not weak. Humanity was a force. The observation fleets began retreating slowly. Some fled entirely, unable to comprehend the sheer scale of power. Some paused, unable to reconcile what they had seen with everything they thought they knew. Across the galaxy, whispers began. No one feared humanity. Until now. On the bridge of the Titan, Asha's eyes lingered on the stars. She was aware of the fear she inspired, but her mind was not on conquest or revenge. She thought of the people of Earth, of children playing in fields, of scientists hunched over experiments, of farmers tending their crops. Humanity had never wanted to dominate the stars. They had only wanted to survive, to protect, to endure. But survival sometimes demanded strength. And for the first time, The galaxy understood that humans possessed a strength no one could predict. No one could calculate and no one could easily destroy. In the silence of space, the Titan hovered massive and magnificent. It was not just a warship. It was a statement. It was humanity's answer to centuries of underestimation, ridicule, and dismissal. And as the fleets of aliens slowly withdrew, one truth became clear. No one would ever take humanity lightly again. The galaxy had never seen anything like humanity's warship. Even the most advanced civilizations confident in their fleets hesitated. They did not know how to respond. And so, the Galactic Council decided to send an envoy, a delegation of the wisest and most cautious alien leaders to Earth. Their ships approached the Titan of Terra slowly, engines humming nervously. Humans had not fired. There was no destruction, no threat. Yet every sensor, every mind, every instinct screamed caution. Something about the ship, about the humans inside, was different. When the envoys docked, they expected arrogance, threats, perhaps even chaos. They were prepared for humans to beg for mercy, to plead for survival. But none of that happened. Captain Asha greeted them on the main bridge, standing tall in her uniform, calm and composed. Her eyes were sharp, but there was a depth to them, a strange mixture of patience, sadness, and quiet strength. The aliens could not look away. "We do not seek war," she said simply, "but the galaxy has always underestimated us. Perhaps now you will understand why you should not." The words were soft, almost gentle, but they carried weight heavier than any fleet. The aliens realized then that humans did not need to shout to command attention. Their confidence alone was enough. Asha gestured, and the crew of the Titan began a demonstration. Ships in the nearby asteroid belt were analyzed and scanned in seconds. Alien observers watched as the humans operated with precision and grace. Energy shields bent light in impossible ways. Weapons arrays synchronized with terrifying efficiency, and every movement of the colossal ship seemed almost live. One alien diplomat whispered to another, trembling, "They are not just strong. They are perfect in their coordination." But it was not perfection born from arrogance. It was born from necessity, discipline, and survival. Humans had always lived under pressure, always fought for their lives in countless ways, from the smallest struggles to global crises. That resilience had shaped them into something the galaxy could not ignore. The aliens tried to communicate, asking questions about the ship, about weapons, about humanity's intentions. Asha answered each calmly. Her voice did not rise. Her words were clear. Humanity desired peace but would never bow to threats. Then the envoys asked the question that had haunted the galaxy for centuries. Why now? Why reveal such power? Asha's eyes softened. She looked at the stars through the viewports as if searching for answers in the endless void. "We have always been underestimated," she said. "And underestimation is dangerous. If the galaxy believes we are weak, it will act without caution. We cannot afford to be weak, not anymore." The aliens understood, and fear mingled with awe. They had assumed humans would panic in the face of overwhelming power. But these beings did not. They were calm, precise, and resolute. Humanity had mastered something no other species had: control of their own strength. As the envoys prepared to leave, one of the alien commanders dared to speak. You could destroy us all in moments." Asha smiled faintly, though it did not reach her eyes. "Yes," she said. "But destruction is not what we want. Survival is, peace is, but do not mistake mercy for weakness. Humanity will endure, and anyone who tests us will regret it." The envoys left with heavy hearts. Their fleets had come expecting diplomacy and received a lesson instead. They had come to negotiate with a fragile, insignificant species, and discovered a force that could not be ignored. Back on the Titan, Asha stood silently, watching the stars fade behind departing alien ships. Her crew remained at their stations, alert but calm. Each of them understood the weight of the moment. Humanity's place in the galaxy had changed. For centuries they had been observed, laughed at, dismissed. Now they were feared, And yet Asha did not feel triumph. She felt responsibility. Power without wisdom could destroy everything humans had fought for. She had seen what greed, arrogance, and fear could do in other civilizations. Humanity could never allow itself to follow that path. Asha's voice was quiet as she addressed her crew, but it carried across the bridge. We have shown them what we are. But our strength is not for conquest. Our strength is for protection, for our people, for our home, for the future. Remember that, the crew nodded. They had trained for this moment, yet the reality surpassed any simulation. They were not just humans operating a ship. They were the guardians of a planet, a species, and a legacy that no one had truly understood until now. Outside, the stars stretched endlessly. The galaxy had glimpsed humanity's true face, and for the first time a sense of respect and fear settled quietly in the void. No one had feared humanity before. Now they could not unsee it. The galaxy had begun to whisper about humanity. From distant star systems to massive trading hubs, the word spread. Earth has power unlike any other. Humans are not what they seem. For some it was awe, for others it was fear, and for a few ambitious civilizations it was a challenge they could not resist. A fleet of alien warships, 10 times larger than any humans had ever seen, gathered in secret. They had decided that if humanity claimed power, they would crush it before it could grow further. Pride, greed, and arrogance blinded them to the lessons already given. On Earth, the humans knew of the approaching fleet through advanced sensors and intelligence networks. The Titan of Terra loomed silently in orbit, its massive hull reflecting the light of distant suns. Captain Asha stood on the bridge, her hands lightly resting on the railing, eyes fixed on the distant fleet. She did not flinch, though her heart carried the weight of responsibility. Millions of lives depended on the choices she made. "Sir," said Lieutenant Kara, her voice tight with tension. "They are moving closer. They believe they can intimidate us." "They are right to be cautious," Asha replied softly, "but wrong to assume fear will bend us. Humanity does not bow to arrogance." The alien fleet moved in formation, weapons charged, ready to strike. From their perspective, humanity had never been a threat. They expected chaos, panic, a quick surrender. Instead, the humans aboard the Titan remained composed. The Colossal Warship moved with a grace that no one could predict, engines pulsing rhythmically, shields shimmering like rippling water. As the first wave of alien ships entered range, the humans did not fire immediately. They waited, calculating, observing, making the enemies doubt themselves. Every maneuver the Titan made was precise, every adjustment intentional. The aliens' confidence began to waver. They could feel the danger even before the weapons were unleashed. Then came the warning. The Titan released a low-frequency pulse that resonated across space. Alien ships shook violently, systems flickering as the energy swept past. It was not destruction yet, only a demonstration. The aliens realized that every second they delayed, the humans could annihilate them. And still, no one fired a shot from the human side. Captain Asha spoke over the interstellar comms, her voice calm but filled with authority. "You have come to challenge us. Consider this your only warning. Leave this sector. Humanity does not seek war, but we will survive. Anyone who underestimates us will regret it." For a moment silence reigned. The alien fleet hesitated, unsure if this species was bluffing or if the humans truly wielded such power. Pride warred with fear. But before they could retreat, one of the alien commanders made a choice, a mistake. Lasers fired. The first strike came swift and deadly. Humans had anticipated it. The Titan moved with impossibly fast reflexes, weapons systems locking onto the aggressors with unmatched precision. In moments, alien ships were disabled, torn apart by energy beams that struck with surgical accuracy. The battlefield filled with debris, yet not a single human ship was harmed. The surviving aliens scrambled, panic replacing arrogance. They had underestimated the humans, and now they were paying the price. Yet in the midst of destruction, the humans did not celebrate. The crew of the Titan worked with calm efficiency. targeting only the ships that threatened them, ensuring no collateral damage to nearby planets. Their restraint was as terrifying as their power. Captain Asha stood silently, her face illuminated by the glow of the bridge. "This is what it means to protect," she said softly. "We do not destroy without reason, but we will not allow ourselves to be destroyed either." The alien fleets withdrew badly damaged, carrying stories of human ruthlessness. But they also carried another lesson. Humanity could not be measured by fear alone. Humans fought with intelligence, courage, and an unyielding will. They were strong, yes, but also wise enough to know the difference between revenge and justice. Across the galaxy, whispers turned into murmurs. No one feared humanity before. Now everyone should. Ships in distant star systems began scanning human-controlled space with renewed caution. Diplomats began reconsidering alliances. Traders hesitated before passing through human sectors. Humanity had revealed its strength and the galaxy could not ignore it. Captain Asha remained on the bridge long after the battle, watching the remnants of the alien fleet retreat into the darkness. She felt the weight of the moment, not pride, not triumph, but responsibility. Humanity had survived a test and the galaxy had learned a harsh lesson. "Prepare the after-action reports," she said quietly, "and remind every crew member, our strength is not for conquest. It is for protection. That is what makes us human." Outside, stars stretched endlessly, indifferent yet beautiful. Humanity had shown its true face and nothing would ever be the same. The galaxy had glimpsed a force it could not underestimate. And for the first time, humans understood that being underestimated was a luxury they could no longer afford. No one feared humanity, yet. But now the seed of fear had been planted, growing silently in the hearts of every observer. The warning had been ignored. The arrogant fleet that had survived the first encounter regrouped, bringing reinforcements from neighboring star systems. They outnumbered humanity's forces 10-1, or so they believed. Pride had blinded them. They assumed humans would flee or surrender when faced with overwhelming power. But the humans did not run. In orbit above Earth, the Titan of Terra hung like a guardian over the blue planet below. Its massive hull reflected the sun, a shining statement of humanity's resolve. Inside, Captain Asha stood on the bridge watching the alien fleet as it approached with cold precision. Her crew moved quietly but purposefully, each member aware of the stakes. Millions of lives depended on them and the humans would not fail. "Sir," Lieutenant Kara said, her voice steady but tense, "they are within strike range. If they attack, the planet is vulnerable." Asha's eyes did not leave the view screen. "They underestimate us still," she replied softly. "Prepare the defenses, but wait. Let them come a little closer. Let them see the truth." The first wave of alien ships fired. Energy beams cut through space, ripping apart the emptiness with fire and light. The Titan did not panic. Its shields absorbed the brunt of the attacks, bending energy in impossible ways. Then it struck back, not wildly but with calculated precision. Alien warships disintegrated in bursts of light, evaporating into particles before they could reach Earth. The galaxy watched in horror. Ships that had never feared humans before were now retreating, scrambling to survive. The Titan moved like a predator, yet with purpose. Every maneuver was perfect, every weapon aimed with terrifying accuracy. Humans did not destroy for the sake of destruction. They destroyed only what threatened them, protecting Earth above all. As the battle raged, Asha's voice carried over the ship's comms, calm but firm. "Do not underestimate humanity. We will survive, and we will protect our home." Below, people on Earth watched from orbiting stations and telescopes as the battle unfolded, panic mixed with awe. Humanity had survived skirmishes before, but this was different. This was proof of the power they had always known in their hearts. For the first time, the galaxy truly saw humans not as fragile beings, but as guardians capable of unimaginable strength. One by one, the alien fleets fell back, their arrogance shattered. They had expected chaos and fear. Instead, they found precision, strategy, and courage that no one could ignore. And yet, even in victory, the humans aboard the Titan did not celebrate. They mourned the lives lost on both sides, remembering that power was only as noble as the intent behind it. Asha walked along the bridge, her eyes lingering on the stars. She knew the galaxy would never be the same. Humanity had sent a message louder than any words. Underestimate us and you will regret it. But harm the innocent and you will face a force unlike any other. Outside, the remnants of the alien fleet drifted into space, battered and broken. Some ships barely held together, their crews shaken to the core. Reports spread across systems like wildfire. Humans were no longer a curiosity. They were a threat, and one that had shown the ability to destroy fleets without losing control. Even in distant corners of the galaxy, leaders and commanders paused, reconsidering their strategies. Alliances shifted, trade routes rerouted, and the quiet voice of caution replaced the once loud laughter at humanity's expense. The humans had not sought war, but they had proven that when threatened, they could unleash a power the galaxy had never imagined. On the Titan, Captain Asha finally allowed herself a brief moment of reflection. Her crew was tired but unwavering. Together they had defended their planet, their species, and their honor. Humanity had revealed its true strength, not through brutality alone, but through courage, intelligence, and restraint. Asha looked down at the blue planet below, feeling the weight of responsibility. Humanity's journey among the stars had truly begun, and the galaxy would now watch every step with caution. "This is only the beginning," she whispered, her voice almost lost among the hum of the ship. "We have shown our strength, but we must never forget why we fight. To protect, to endure, to survive." The Titan of Terra hovered silently in orbit, massive, magnificent, and unstoppable. Above it, the stars stretched endlessly. Below it, Earth waited. And the galaxy, wide-eyed and fearful, began to realize that humanity had arrived, and no force in the universe could underestimate them again. No one feared humanity, until now. The battle was over. The alien fleets had retreated, broken and humiliated, carrying the story of humanity's terrifying power across the stars. And yet on the Titan of Terra there was no celebration. Captain Asha walked along the bridge, her eyes resting on the distant planets and the glittering expanse of space. She felt the weight of what had been revealed, not just to the galaxy but to humanity itself. Humans had always been underestimated. Their small planet, their fragile bodies, their chaotic history, all of it had led other civilizations to believe they were weak. But now the galaxy had witnessed something it could not ignore. Humanity's strength was not in size or numbers or flashy weapons. It was in their resolve, in their courage, in the way they fought with purpose and protected what they loved. Reports from the battle flooded in. Alien ships that had once mocked humanity now told tales of the humans' discipline and precision. Ships that could obliterate planets were destroyed with elegance, not rage. Observers spoke of restraint, strategy, and intelligence that no other species had demonstrated in similar circumstances. Humans were unpredictable, and that unpredictability made them dangerous in a way the galaxy had never considered. The galaxy began to understand a crucial truth. Humans were not mindless aggressors, nor were they weaklings. They were complex, morally aware, and willing to sacrifice for the greater good. Their power was coupled with restraint. Their intelligence was tempered by empathy. Their strength was guided by purpose. And that combination, unexpected, terrifying, and awe-inspiring, made them something the universe had never seen before. Back on the Titan, Captain Asha gathered her officers. "We have survived," she said softly, "and the galaxy has seen our truth. But power without responsibility is dangerous. We must remember why we fight and never forget what makes us human. This is not conquest. It is protection. It is survival." Her officers nodded. They had seen the fear in alien eyes, the hesitation in commanders who had once thought themselves untouchable. They had seen humanity's potential reflected back at them from the void, and they understood the responsibility that came with such revelation. Humanity was no longer small. Humanity was no longer underestimated. Humanity had changed the galaxy's perception forever. News spread quickly. Across star systems, leaders whispered about Earth. Traders altered their routes, fearful of angering a species that could defend itself with ease. Diplomats approached cautiously, realizing that arrogance could be fatal. Even those who had never engaged with humanity directly felt the shift. Fear mingled with respect, and the galaxy began to reconsider what it meant to underestimate a civilization. Yet for all the awe and trepidation, humanity did not claim victory. The humans aboard the Titan mourned the lives lost in the conflict, both human and alien. They understood that power was not measured by destruction alone, but by the wisdom to wield it correctly. In every quiet moment there was reflection, humility, and an understanding that their true challenge was not proving strength. It was ensuring it was never misused. Captain Asha often walked the empty corridors of the Titan, thinking about the galaxy beyond. She knew that others would test humanity again, that ambition and fear would drive civilizations to challenge them, but she also knew something the galaxy had only glimpsed in moments of awe. Humanity's true strength lay not in weapons, but in spirit. In their ability to endure, to protect, to fight when necessary and restrain when possible. From the edge of the Milky Way to the farthest inhabited system, the whisper spread. No one feared humanity until they saw what humans truly were. It was not just power that had frightened the galaxy. It was understanding that humans were a species that could rise above cruelty and chaos. A species that could combine intelligence with morality, strength with compassion. They were dangerous because they could survive and thrive where others would fail. And as the stars stretched endlessly, humans aboard the Titan looked out at the universe with calm determination. They had revealed themselves to the galaxy, and the galaxy had taken notice. Yet Asha knew that revelation was only the beginning. Humanity's journey among the stars had just begun, and with every challenge, every encounter, every test, they would continue to prove that their strength was more than physical. It was the essence of who they were. The galaxy had learned a lesson it would never forget. Humans were not a species to mock, ignore, or underestimate. Humanity was unstoppable not because of sheer power alone, but because of their heart, their courage, and their refusal to be subdued. And in the quiet of the bridge, Captain Asha whispered, almost to herself, "Let them fear us, yes, but let them also remember why we fight. For life, for Earth, for humanity." The universe had seen humanity's truth, and it would never be the same again. The galaxy was quiet, but the silence was heavy. Word of humanity's power spread faster than any fleet could travel. Leaders, strategists, and scholars debated endlessly. Small factions feared humans, while mighty empires realized they could no longer take Earth lightly. For centuries, humans had been dismissed as insignificant. Now, even the most confident civilizations were cautious. On Earth, Captain Asha watched the stars from the Titan of Terra. The massive warship hovered above the planet like a sentinel, calm yet imposing. She knew that surviving the attack was only the beginning. Humanity's real challenge was not destroying fleets, it was proving that their strength came with wisdom, restraint, and purpose. "The Council has requested our presence," Lieutenant Kara said, reading the latest transmissions. "They want to negotiate." Cautiously, Asha nodded. "Prepare the communications. And remember," she said quietly, "we do not intimidate. We protect. We show strength so it will not be tested." That is the difference. When alien envoys arrived, their ships were smaller this time, almost hesitant. They had witnessed humanity's power firsthand, and fear colored every maneuver. They had expected brash threats or reckless pride. Instead, they found humans calm, respectful, and measured. Captain Asha greeted them personally. "Welcome," she said simply. We hope this visit will build understanding. We do not seek war, but we will defend our home and our people." The envoys exchanged nervous glances. For the first time, they realized that humanity's power was not fueled by anger or conquest. It was disciplined, moral, and purposeful. A small, fragile species had risen to a level that demanded respect. Diplomatic talks began. Humans listened carefully, asking questions, considering alliances, and explaining boundaries. They made it clear. Cooperation was possible, but weakness would not be tolerated. The galaxy learned that humanity's intelligence extended beyond strategy and war. Humans could negotiate, reason, and inspire loyalty, all while remaining unshakable in defense of their principles. Outside the Titan, fleets waited at a distance, scanning, hesitant to approach. They had seen what humans were capable of. Some planned attacks but paused, reconsidering the cost. Others realized they could no longer ignore Earth's influence in galactic politics. The balance of power had shifted, and it was subtle but undeniable. Asha's voice carried quietly across the bridge. "They will test us again. Some may never understand, but we will not act out of pride or vengeance. Our strength is to protect our people, not conquer the stars." Even as negotiations proceeded, humanity's reputation grew. Across trading routes, across planets, across sectors that had never heard of Earth before, whispers spread. Humans are not a species to underestimate. They fight with reason, survive against all odds, and protect what is theirs with relentless precision. And yet there was more than fear. Some species began to admire humans. They marveled at the discipline, the courage, and the moral restraint that guided such immense power. They realized that humanity's strength was not only physical or technological, it was moral, emotional, and deeply rooted in the will to endure. In the quiet hours aboard the Titan, Asha walked along the corridors, observing her crew. They were disciplined, trained, and resilient, but also human, capable of empathy, doubt, and determination. That combination, she knew, was what made them truly dangerous in the galaxy's eyes. Not cruelty, not hatred, but strength guided by wisdom. The envoys departed, carrying back their reports to councils and leaders. The stories they would tell would ripple across the stars. Some would inspire caution, others admiration, and some would fuel envy. But all would understand one undeniable truth. Humanity had arrived. As the Titan hovered silently above Earth, the crew looked out at the planet below. It was their home, fragile yet precious, and the galaxy had learned to respect it. Humans had proven they could survive anything. They could protect what mattered, endure what others could not, and rise when every expectation said they would fall. Captain Asha's voice was soft, almost to herself, as she gazed into the void. "We have shown them who we are. Let them respect us. Let them fear us, but let them also understand why we fight. For life, for Earth, for humanity." Outside, stars stretched endlessly, indifferent yet beautiful. Humanity had gained its place in the galaxy, not through conquest, not through intimidation, but through a combination of power, restraint, and moral clarity. The galaxy had responded cautiously, wisely, and forever changed by what it had witnessed. No one feared humanity before. Now the universe knew that humans were not only capable of surviving, it was clear that humanity could shape the future of the galaxy itself. Centuries had passed since the galaxy first witnessed the Titan of Terra. Humanity had endured countless tests, both from the stars and within themselves. Yet Earth remained unbroken, its people resilient, its spirit unshakable. The galaxy no longer laughed at humanity. No one underestimated them. The whispers across systems had changed. No one feared humanity until they saw what they truly are. Captain Asha, now older, stood on a high observation deck on Earth, looking out at the stars that stretched endlessly into the void. She remembered the first time the Titan emerged into orbit, the shock in alien eyes, the fear that had quietly spread across the galaxy. Back then humans had been underestimated. Now they were respected and feared, not for cruelty or arrogance, but for the combination of courage, restraint, and unwavering will. Humanity had not sought domination. They had only sought survival. But in defending themselves, they had reshaped the galaxy's understanding of strength. Other civilizations learned that power without morality was dangerous, but power with purpose was unstoppable. Humanity embodied both. The Titan of Terra had long since become a symbol, more legend than warship. Tales of its battles and humanity's victories were shared across the stars. Children on distant planets learned of the humans who had stood against impossible odds, who had survived when all others expected them to fail, who had protected their home not through rage but through strategy, courage, and heart. Even among former enemies, respect had grown. Some civilizations sought alliances, not to control humans but to learn from them. They saw that strength was more than weapons. It was discipline, wisdom, and a deep connection to one's people. Humanity had taught the galaxy that true power was not only measured in firepower, but in integrity. On Earth, Asha often met with young officers, recounting stories of the battles they had fought and the lessons they had learned. She spoke not to boast but to teach. "We have survived," she would say, her voice calm yet filled with authority, "because we fight for more than ourselves. We fight for our people, for our home, and for the future. That is what makes us strong." The galaxy had grown cautious. Humans were no longer ignored, ridiculed, or underestimated. Ships traveled more carefully, diplomatic envoys approached with respect, and alliances were considered thoughtfully. Humanity's presence had changed the balance of power, but it had not made humans tyrants. They had shown that strength without restraint was dangerous, but strength with responsibility could inspire the stars themselves. Yet Asha knew that vigilance was eternal. Humanity had proven its power, but the universe remained vast and unpredictable. There would always be challenges, threats, and moments that demanded courage beyond imagination. And humanity would face them, not because they craved conflict, but because they understood that protecting life often required unmatched determination. In quiet moments, Asha would walk along the observation deck, feeling the gentle hum of the city below and the infinite silence of space above. She thought of all the humans who had lived and died, who had fought to protect their home, who had dared to stand against the impossible. They had built a legacy that would endure far beyond their lifetimes, far beyond Earth itself. Across the galaxy, the story of humanity became legend. Scholars, historians, and storytellers shared the tale of a species that had been small and underestimated, yet rose to a place of respect and fear. They spoke of courage and restraint, of intelligence guided by morality, of strength tempered with wisdom, and everywhere beings of every species came to understand the same truth. Humans were not to be taken lightly. Asha turned her gaze to a distant star. She thought of the endless possibilities, the uncharted territories, the civilizations yet to meet humanity. And she smiled quietly with pride and hope. Humans had arrived among the stars not by conquest, but by perseverance. They had shown the universe the essence of their true strength. And as the stars shimmered silently above, a quiet voice echoed in the minds of all who had witnessed humanity. No one feared humanity until they saw what we truly are. Humanity's legacy was clear. They had survived, endured, and risen. They had taught the galaxy that strength without morality was hollow, and power without purpose was fleeting. They had shown that even the smallest, most underestimated species could become unstoppable, not through cruelty, but through courage, restraint, and an unwavering commitment to life. And Earth, fragile yet eternal, remained at the heart of that legacy. Humanity's story was far from over. But one thing was certain. The galaxy would never forget the lesson the Titan of Terra had delivered, and humans would never be underestimated again.